Okay, this video is going to contain 3 inequalities that we're going to solve. So remember, guys, when you're solving inequalities, you solve them just like equations. The only thing you have to worry about is your actual inequality sign, and the solutions look a little different. And then if we have to multiply or divide by a negative number, then we have a little bit of an issue. But other than that, you solve them just like you would an equation. And if we were solving an equation, the very first step would be to distribute that negative 8. So I have negative 8x minus 56, right, after I distribute that. Then it's plus 2x greater than negative 86. You combine like terms. Negative 8x plus 2x is negative 6x minus 56 greater than negative 86. I'm going to add 56 to both sides. So I will have negative 6x greater than negative 30, and I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. And so then I will have x, and here's the big deal. It's no longer greater than, and it's now less than, because you are dividing by a negative number. So then x less than 5, right? And so when you graph that on the number line, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6. I go to graph it. I use an open circle at 5. That's a little bit not right at 5. An open circle at 5, and obviously you can put it on the number line. I just always put it above just so you can see it. And everything less than 5 is my solution, right? If it was less than or equal to, I would have used a closed circle there, but that's not the case. So let's undo those 2 steps. And then interval notation, guys. Remember, interval notation, and we did do this at the beginning of the year, interval notation is really just kind of pretty straightforward. When you look at this, let me change to purple since I haven't used that yet. Okay. The smallest number that's over here would be negative infinity, right? And it goes up to the 5. So your actual interval notation will be negative infinity, comma, 5. You use parentheses around the 5 because it's an open circle up here, and you use parentheses around your infinity, whether it's positive or negative, because you will never reach infinity. All right, next one to look at. So when we're doing this, I'm going to, again, distribute. This time it's a negative 1, so I will have, sorry guys, hold on, change the colors. So negative 4 plus 6x less than x plus 5x minus 4. Okay, I'm going to combine like terms over on this side. So I have a negative 4 plus 6x less than a 6x minus a 4. And you can stop it here, or you can subtract 6x from both sides because you're trying to get your x's on the same side. But you'll notice that those actually reduce or simplify down to 0. So you have a negative 4 less than negative 4. Guys, can a number ever be less than itself? Nope, it cannot. So this is actually a contradiction. There is no contradiction. There's no solution to it. And so this is actually the empty set. So you wouldn't graph it. You wouldn't have interval notation for anything like that because it's not true. Now, I will say this right here is strictly less than. If this had said negative 4 less than or equal to negative 4, then it would have been true, and our solution would have been all real numbers, and our interval would have been from negative infinity to positive infinity. But again, that's only if that had actually said less than or equal to. And last one, I just wanted to do one with fractions. Guys, honestly, the fractions, you guys end up freaking out about them, but you don't need to, right? What you're going to do is you're going to look, you've got a numerator of a denominator of 1, 2, and 8, right? 8 is the number that would take care of all of it because 2 goes into 8, 8 goes into 8, 1 goes into 8. So I'm going to multiply literally every fraction by 8. Now, please remember, it doesn't mean when I do this, it's not going to be 8 times n and 8 times 1. It's just 8 times n divided by 1. Well, 8n divided by 1 is 8n. Plus, what I'm going to do is, and again, you can let your calculator do the work for you, 3 times 8 divided by 2. So 3 times 8 is 24. Divided by 2 is 12. So that's 12n greater than. And then you can do 8 times 25 and divide it by 8. And what you'll end up getting is just the plain old 25 right there. And so then combine like terms over on this left side. I've got 20n greater than 25. Divide both sides by 20. So I have n greater than 25 over 20. I'm going to reduce that. So n is greater than 5 over 4. Okay. And so when I go to graph it, I'm just going to go by 4. So this would be 1, which is 4 over 4. This would be 5 over 4. 6 over 4 would be 1.5, right? So you would really just need to make sure that you show me where you're graphing. And I actually think when you're doing your My Math Lab, it does a scale for you. We've got open circle. We are shading to the right because we want all numbers greater than. And when we do our interval notation, 5/4 is the smallest number that we can be at. We are heading toward positive infinity, right? That's where we're heading toward. That's supposed to be an arrow. It looks like a 4. Sorry about that. We are heading toward positive infinity. To infinity and beyond. Fun.